side note, almost everyone you know has a hemorrhoid.
I have one.
It's pretty common. Pretty common. So if you're freaked out by your hemorrhoid, just tell that little guy, hey, you're okay.
You matter too.
You matter too.
Welcome to Pelvic POV with your hosts and doctors of physical therapy, Amanda Neary and Hannah Meyer. Hey, Pelvic Freaks. Welcome back to another episode of Pelvic POV.
We're your freaks for us and we're freaks for your pelvis, baby.
My voice is still a little raspy. Sorry, guys.
Which is still sexy hot. Remember when Phoebe from Friends got the phlegm and then she sang Smelly Cat?
I do like how I sound right now, if it were my normal voice.
Yeah. Do you guys like it?
Tell them about what we did last night.
So last night, Amanda and I, okay, if you guys aren't caught up with us yet, we love reality TV, don't we?
Yeah, we sure do.
We love it.
We sure don't do.
We do. And specifically Love Island is my favorite. But last night we gave into the Netflix reality TV, which is a different genre of reality TV in my opinion.
Yeah. More
and
trash.
It's a little bit trashier, a little bit cheesier, and a little bit weirder of concepts, like The Ultimatum, right? Mm-hmm. This one's called Temptation Island. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but really weird premise. Pretty much the idea is that these couples come onto this island or whatever, and the reason they come onto this island is because there's been some kind of form of infidelity or cheating, and pretty much mostly with the men cheating on the women. And they're trying to save the relationship by going on Temptation Island where they get separated and the men are with all like super hot women on a villa. And then the women are on the villa with all super hot men and they're separated from their partners. And if they give into temptation, then they fail. Or they can prove to their partner that they're not going to be giving into temptation and then they can stay together, I guess.
Yeah, I can't stress enough how dumb this concept is. It's up there with The Ultimatum where like, oh, let's try to fix our relationship by adding other people to it. It's not good, but it does make for good TV.
It is good TV. I feel like all of these shows, people are like, reality TV is so stupid. Why are you consuming that? I almost look at it as like a psychology experiment
for yourself.
Something. For those, like maybe for myself. I don't know. No, for like the people. It's like, what's going to happen if you give these people this premise or this suggestion? What's going to happen?
It's so interesting. I also, the way they talk about things, it gives me a chance to check in with myself where I'm like, that's wild that someone would say that. So I must be in a good place because I would never, ever do that.
Yes, 100%.
Never put up with that.
But we love the host of the show because he almost acts as like a little bit of a therapist.
What's his name?
I think his name is Mark.
I love him. I want him in my home and I don't want men in my home.
Yeah, that's a fact right there. His name's Mark. And at first we thought he was kind of cheesy. But then when we find out at the end of an episode, they have the like fire pit or whatever, which really is all the men getting together with him or all the women getting together with him, not together. But not like the men and women together, I mean. And they have like a group therapy session with him and he helps them through their problems.
It's pretty cute.
It's kind of cute. And we started to like Mark.
Yeah. Wait, what did the one Temptator say? Temptator.
Oh, when she was like, some girls are funny, some girls are hot. I'm just both.
Oh yeah, that was fire.
That was cool. Yeah.
No, but I'm talking about the model when she came out to introduce herself. And she
what is that? What I thought?
First of all, their role is to like get the couples to break and like which by the way to me feels like, I don't know what the pay structure is for this show, but I'm like, are you paying them as sex workers? Because that's kind of what you're asking them to do.
Yeah, literally.
So shout out to sex workers, but I hope they're being compensated fairly for this because their whole role in this show is to like get someone to cheat essentially, and hook up with them. But one woman comes out and she goes, my guilty pleasure is sucking dick. And I just look at each other
and like literally start dying laughing.
We literally looked at each other like,
like she just said that on TV.
So freaking awesome.
But she said it like, my guilty pleasure is sucking dick. And then she like turned around and like shook her ass or something.
So good.
Yeah, I was like, okay, pop off, sis.
Incredible. Yeah, this show, you know, it's horrible. I'm going to keep watching it. It's so good.
We're going to keep watching it. And yeah, it is pretty good. We recommend it.
Also, Love is Blind. Did you finish it?
I skipped to the end because I didn't care anymore. And I just wanted to figure out who was together and who wasn't.
There were also a lot of episodes this season because there were so many episodes of the pods, which were stupid.
Yeah.
I always skip the wedding day, get ready part. I just skip to the I do's.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of that. I don't care about the wedding dresses. I don't care.
Love is Blind flaw. I'm sure if they look at their analytics, they see that people watch the pods and then watch like maybe like the first 2 episodes of them together. And then they skip, and then everyone like skips to the end.
Yeah.
That has to be how their analytics work because I get so bored watching them.
I know. It's wild.
Yeah.
This season was insane. So like one, lack of diversity, and then just the conversations that were had, the amount of like willful ignorance, but also people's willingness to put up with ignorance when they claim to care about things was so interesting to me because there's a lot of people on social media now saying like, oh, good for you for like sticking to your values and whatever. And I'm like, these guys told you exactly who they were in the pods. Like, why did you even get engaged if this guy, you say my sister's gay and he says, oh, I've never really thought about that. I don't know how my church stands on that. You're still going to get engaged to that guy?
What?
I don't know. To me, just weird vibes all around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in Minnesota.
Yeah. I remember that conversation. And I remember another. Yeah. It was just.
There's biphobia. There was
biphobia for sure.
Sometimes I forget that we're in like a bubble in Chicago that's just so progressive. And like, I wouldn't, if someone said any of this stuff to me on a first date, I would just be like, I probably wouldn't have even matched with them on the apps because their profile would tell me everything I need to know. But like on a first date, if someone's like, yeah, I've never thought about that, I'd be like, all right, cool. Like we don't need to go on another date.
Yeah.
Bye.
Peace out. And then they're like, let's get engaged. I'm sure there's an idea of like, oh, I want to keep being on this show. And like,
there's incentives for sure.
Yeah.
But I think once you get to engagement, your incentive is alter. Like there's no in between. Mm-hmm. It's like if you get engagement, you're going to get airtime. So that's probably what people want.
Yeah.
And then but to me, that wouldn't be worth it to like have to fake it to a wedding day with this person. That's wild.
No.
I don't know. I'm learning just how conservative a lot of reality TV guests are.
It's almost always.
What's up with that?
It's pretty common.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but Love is Blind is probably my lower tier reality TV show, I will say.
I think it was amazing at first. The first couple seasons were so good.
I think because it was so shocking. There was nothing like it. And now it's like kind of the same thing happens every time. There's like maybe one couple that makes it through, but like everyone else, we just know this isn't going to work out.
I think reality shows always work this way where like the early seasons are more genuine and then like people know how to work the system on Love is Blind. Like someone's going on this show saying like, oh, I'm going to get a really good edit because I'm going to do this, this, and this on the show. And it's just, you can tell. It's orchestrated. It's not genuine. Yeah.
They need something new because it's just been the same. And it's not.
But I will say this reunion was one of the best reunions I've seen.
Yeah.
Also, the whole time I was watching this season, Madison.
Yes.
Hottie. Mm-hmm. She's getting so much shit on social media now. And the whole time I was like, everyone fucking sucks. Like, all she did was speak up for herself. Double standard central. Everyone's defending Mason and like shitting on her. I'm like, they did the same thing. Grow up. And she's just hot, so they're probably jealous.
We know this, yeah.
Also, I clocked that right away. I was like, a villain. She's bisexual.
Immediately knew that.
Anyways, that's our reality TV hot takes. You've heard of Reality Steve, but have you heard of Reality Freaks?
Ring, ring.
Freak, hello.
Hello? Hey, this is your butthole.
Why are you calling?
You need to answer.
It's time to talk about it.
Can you talk about me a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. See you later.
All right, guys, that was silly, but today we are talking about buttholes because we, as pelvic floor therapists, do rectal exams in our sessions. Hannah, what's a rectal exam?
So, Amanda, a rectal exam is pretty much the same thing that we do vaginally, but we do it rectally. It's one glove finger, water-based gel lubricant. We're assessing the pelvic floor muscles, but through a different sphincter.
Woo!
Which is your butthole.
What's cool about the rectal exam is everyone has a rectum. So this is a universal exam for all humans, and it can be beneficial for anyone coming to pelvic floor therapy. Some providers will group it into an exam for patients with a vagina, and they'll do the vaginal and the rectal exam, regardless on that first visit, obviously with consent. And sometimes it's used as a secondary exam. So it might not be indicated for patients with a vagina if they think assessing vaginally will be sufficient. But more and more people, I feel, are adding it to their initial assessment to do both.
I think it is. I think it's a good idea too.
Yeah, I think
I'm not going to lie. It's happened way too often for me that, and by way too often, I mean, I've had like a few experiences. It doesn't happen every time, but I've had this happen that I have a patient that plateaus and I haven't done rectal work with them yet. And then we do rectal work and we're like, oh, that is your pain.
Yeah.
We need to do this.
Yeah.
This really happened to me. This happened to me.
I know this is an educational episode, but I have such an interesting question for you now. Like, do you feel like because female patients have a vagina, they're being underserved in the fact that a lot of practitioners aren't doing rectal exams? Because I kind of feel like they might be.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. It's also like, I also can see that as a practitioner, maybe just saying to do a vaginal exam is easier.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are way more uncomfortable with a rectal exam. Most people are more uncomfortable with the rectal exam. So then a practitioner might not bring it up initially. So I can see that being a thing.
It's also, we might be the first practitioner that's ever suggested this exam for them. Whereas people that don't have a vagina are used to rectal exams as part of their annual physical. So it is definitely more sensitive to bring it up to someone who's never had it. And if they have a vagina and we're doing the pelvic floor exam that way, it's like, why don't we ease into one and then we'll kind of attack the other? So I totally see both sides of it and I see why we do it the way we do. But I'm so curious how it's going to shift if we're going to start including them more and talk about this more.
Yes, I really want to because it is actually amazing.
Yeah.
And almost everyone and your mother knows.
I'm curious where this is going.
That wasn't right.
Everyone and their mother?
Everyone and their mother. I said everyone and your mother. You listening, everyone plus your mom knows. And looking at you, your mom knows that they are straining when they poop. Mm-hmm. Your muscles aren't working appropriately. We got to retrain that, honestly.
100%.
Almost with most people, I would say.
Your Your prerequisite for this episode is to go listen to Poop Like a Queen if you haven't, because we talk about pooping techniques and how we suggest pooping as pelvic floor therapists. You can also go listen to it after this episode. We're just not going to dive so deep into rectal pooping techniques. We're going to talk about more so the exam indications for that and
why this is important.
Yeah.
But when you do go listen to that episode, guys, don't judge us because that was one of our first episodes, I think.
First episodes, our sound was very different and we didn't have the banter we do now or like the flow. So
it's actually kind of cute when I go back and listen to our old episodes.
I haven't done it yet.
Dude, it's so funny. Like, I know that people are still like, their first episode they listen to is our first episode or something. Or like, I've never had an orgasm was our second.
We get new views on that episode every week.
All the time. And I'm like, oh, I almost want to redo these so that we can sound a little bit better. Like the content is still good, but like the way we talk about things, I think now after having some more practice just continues to get better.
Totally. We've been doing this for almost a year at this point. We're going to be better.
Dude, yeah.
It's coming up this summer.
Oh my God. Whoa, I just got like an electric shock in my vagina. Does that ever happen to you guys?
A little lightning crotch?
Yeah, that happened to me just now.
Wow, okay.
Went off track a little bit. Okay.
Rectal exams.
Yeah, guys. It's honestly, we're bringing this up because of the fact that if I suggest, a rectal assessment might be indicated, and this is what this is, and I describe it to the patient, and this is literally what it looks like every time when I tell a patient that. They're like, what? Like wide-eyed, like that doesn't sound like anything I would like to do today. Mm-hmm. So we kind of want to talk about it and destigmatize it a little bit so that it becomes more expected when you come into a pelvic floor session and it's not as scary sounding, because it really is not scary, guys. I can see how it could be scary for some people, right?
It's scary for me.
It's scary. Okay. I'm saying, let's rephrase this, okay? It's really not as bad as you are expecting it to be.
Yeah.
That's what we want to tell you. The number one reason why it's not as bad as you are expecting it to be is you don't poop on my finger. I promise.
Yeah.
There's almost never poop on my finger. Maybe there's a little bit, but I'm not looking. I've taken those gloves off right when I'm done.
We have a
Throw them in the
technique.
trash.
We take gloves off like as I don't even see what's on my glove.
Never.
After an exam. I do it under the sheet. I'm not looking at it. That is something people are scared about. So please don't be. I know it's natural to have that fear and think about that, and you're going to anyway. But from a practitioner standpoint, don't worry about us. We're used to this.
The other reason people are nervous is like, oh my God, they're going to look in my butthole or anything. We are looking for maybe a second.
Yeah.
Just to insert the finger, sheets covered again, and then we're just palpating, stretching the muscles, and looking for muscle tension and then assessing your strength. Yeah. So there's nothing visually that we see for more than like a couple seconds, which is way more. Think about when you go to get a pap smear, right? Wide open, your gynae is down there looking for a while. We're not looking like that because we're looking for different things. It's more based on feel for us.
If you've ever gotten a Brazilian wax or Brazilian laser hair removal treatment, they are looking much longer than we are.
Way
I'm just
longer.
gonna throw that out there.
And they have you spread it.
They have you use your own hands to spread them cheeks. It is the most uncomfortable position. And you're just like, I feel so awkward right now. We don't set you up for failure like that.
No, you're covered by a sheet. You're maybe laying either prone, which is face down, or side lying. And quick lift of the sheet, insert the finger, sheets down, and then we're palpating. There we go.
Yep.
And then we come out, take the glove off. We see nothing.
Yeah. That's a good note because I think a lot of people, I think someone had made a comment to me, a patient said, I think you guys should talk about on your podcast how you do cover your patients, because I was expecting it to be like at the gyno when I'm super exposed the whole time. We do observe. We have physical observation and we use our eyes as part of that, but it's so brief compared to our palpating exam because that's really our main skill set as physical therapists. We are trained in touch and palpating and we assess internally that way. So that's the majority of our physical assessment. And even so, how long is a rectal assessment, would you say?
It depends on each person, but if it's your first assessment, it's not as long as the vaginal one. It's the same amount, maybe
like less than 5 minutes.
5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
But if we're doing treatment, it will be longer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
then we'll talk about why that's indicated. And that'll be the second time that you're experiencing that form of treatment. So you'll be more used to it, more comfortable, more knowing of what to expect.
Yeah. What do you say to people that are scared of farting during rectal exams? Because I have had this.
I've actually never had that happen, ever.
I haven't either.
I have had farting during vaginal assessments a lot more and queefing and all that. But honestly, during rectal, like almost never.
Yeah, you're plugging the hole. How's it going to come out?
Literally. Exactly.
That's what I say.
People feel... That's what I say. That's what I say about that. No, the fear that people... I verbally am telling people as I'm coming out, I'm like, this is going to feel like you're pooping. I promise you're not. I promise you're not pooping. I promise you're not pooping as I'm coming out. Because usually when something is coming out of your rectum, it is poop.
Yep.
But in this case, it's not. But your body is still recognizing that sensation as, oh, I'm pooping right now. Mm-hmm. But it's really just my finger and it's really just the lubricant all over your crack, feeling like it's poop all over your crack.
Yeah. So for people listening, who would you say is a candidate for a rectal exam? Like what do you hear in your subjective that makes you say, oh, I need to do a rectal exam?
Like we said earlier, we're almost starting to potentially recommend it for all patients because it could be beneficial just at least to get the assessment. But specifically when I am thinking, oh, we should do rectal is when someone comes in with a complaint of tailbone pain, constipation, difficulty with having bowel movements, or rectal pain like proctalgia fugax, things like that.
And I'll add, because we just talked about it in the last episode, fecal smearing.
Oh, yeah.
If you have to wipe a lot excessively after going to the bathroom.
Or fecal incontinence.
Which is why our subjective questions are so detailed, because a lot of people wouldn't even recognize that as an issue. But we hear that and we're like, okay, there might be something going on in the pelvic floor.
Yeah. Fecal smearing, and then fecal incontinence is leakage of stool.
Mm-hmm. Did you say tailbone pain already?
Yes, I did. Okay. Tailbone pain, which is, guys, tailbone pain. If you have it, you know how frustrating it is. You literally, the only solution really is physical therapy.
Yeah.
You can't really do anything. Your doctor's just going to be like, sit on this donut. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help you.
And what I'll say about tailbone pain is Almost all patients with a vagina will opt for the vaginal option for treating this initially. And then we hit a wall. And then the minute we add in rectal treatment, tailbone pain gets better.
That's what I suggest people all the time.
It's so effective for tailbone pain.
Mobilizing the coccyx is, we can literally do that so easily through the rectum.
Yep. And those deep pelvic floor muscles, all of your pelvic floor muscles attach onto your tailbone. Through the rectum, you're just getting closer to the source there. You don't have to go through an extra layer of tissue to help release those muscles.
Another reason why you could get a rectal assessment done is literally if you have hip pain or glute pain or something like that. Mm-hmm. I recently got rectal work done from a pelvic floor PT, and the tension that I had on the side where my hip pain has been was absolutely insane, and it was so painful. And I stood up and did the same functional test that I did before I did the rectal work, and I almost couldn't feel it, the pain.
It's awesome.
It almost worked instantly, and it was kind of crazy. So
you're not going to get deeper to your hip rotators than you would with a rectal exam.
Yeah.
There is no method of palpation that will get as close to the source as that exam.
Not even your Theragun on high vibration in that glute, okay?
Yeah.
Sometimes it works. So even if you're plateauing with your hip pain, you could try a rectal assessment or rectal treatment and see how that helps.
This is why I love pelvic floor therapy. We use every facet. We use every opportunity that the body presents to get that much deeper.
Yeah.
The rectal exam is freaking fire for that reason.
Yes. I was talking to someone about this, or maybe I talked on the podcast about this. I don't remember. But I was saying, I see a world where it's normal to go get internal work done if you have hip pain or something like that.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people that go to ortho PTs, do their glutes, exercise, strengthen their glutes, strengthen their rotators, whatever, strengthen, still having pain. But as a pelvic floor PT, we're like immediately doing the internal assessment day one, no matter what. So we're already getting that in-depth idea of what's going on behind the scenes, if you will, and doing all the other things your ortho PT is doing on top of it from that approach. So I don't know. One day I see that it's going to be normal for people to just go get internal work done for hip pain.
Yeah.
And see how it helps further your treatment.
Heck yeah. I love that idea.
There's a lot of good information we can get from a rectal assessment. We can see how you're breathing, when I tell you to like push my finger out like you're trying to poop or something, we can see what your pelvic floor muscles are doing. There's so much.
Yeah.
We can assess your strength rectally, see how it differs from vaginally, all that jazz.
When are we not going to do a rectal exam? There's a few instances that I would hold on them.
If your hemorrhoid is actively bleeding, or you're actively bleeding with like your fissure.
Yes, those are
some ones that I would hold off, but we can still do it if you have a hemorrhoid.
Yes.
Which, side note, almost everyone you know has a hemorrhoid.
I have one.
It's pretty common. Pretty common. So if you're freaked out by your hemorrhoid, just tell that little guy, hey, you're okay.
You matter too.
You matter too.
That's good. Yeah, those are mine. If you have like active, like that razor pain that you'll get with a fissure, like we might avoid the rectal exam for that week or so that it's flared up, but you can still do it once things calm down.
Yeah. If you're bleeding, we don't want to irritate the area or anything like that. Difference from vaginally, if you're on your period, we can still definitely do internal work. But if you have like a tear or something that's still not healed yet, or an infection, something like that, we don't want to go in that area, you know? And the other reason why we wouldn't do internal rectal is if you didn't want to do it. We can still do internal vaginal work. We can still do external mobilizations of your coccyx and soft tissue work on the glutes and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, if you are open to the idea of doing some rectal work, it could be game changing for you, especially if you've been in chronic pain and you've tried everything else.
Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, we can just suggest what we recommend, but it is up to you to approve of your plan of care and go forward with it. So you want to do whatever you're comfortable with. But yes, like Hannah said, if you're open to it, it is massively helpful for us.
But at the end of the day, we get it. We know that, when we're talking about our butthole, it's a little bit more uncomfortable than vagina, right? As a person that has a vagina, you're used to going to the gynecologist. You're used to pap smears. You're used to having things inserted into the vagina, whether it's a finger, whether it's a penis, whether it's your vibrator, dildo, anything like that. But a lot of us are a little bit held off by inserting things rectally, right?
Totally.
So not as common. So we get it if it's not something that you're open to at first, but think about it, talk to your therapist about it, see if it'd be a good idea. If your therapist hasn't suggested it yet and you think you could benefit from it, bring it up to your PT.
Good stuff.
Cool. If you guys have any more questions about it, we want to do some more pooping episodes because it's been a while. Like we just talked about our poop like a queen episode. It's been a minute. We want to do another poop episode.
Yeah, we should.
A little poop and review.
Yeah, if you have questions on this episode, submit them at the link in our bio on social media at Pelvic POV. We would love to answer more rectal exam specific questions and pooping questions. So if you have something going on and you want us to just generally talk about it on the podcast, we would love to do that too.
Anyways, cool. That's what we got for you guys today.
That's what we got, guys. So, make sure you go follow us on social media at Pelvic POV.
And check out our website, pelvicpov.co. And guys, please leave us a rating and a review.
5 stars, if you will.
Please, 5 stars, please. And that's on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and wherever you can rate us. If you can leave us a comment on our Instagram, if you want to write us in, anything, it helps more than you can imagine.
Please. All right.
Please.
Bye, pelvic freaks.
Bye, pelvic freaks.